Hello friends and welcome. My name is Britt and today we're going to be doing a short sketchbook tour of everything I drew in this sketchbook in the months of February and March 2025. And if you watched the last one, you can see that I painted the back, but I still haven't painted the front yet. So once I decide on a pattern, I'll do a little paint with me video. So let's go to the beginning of February. This is going to be shorter than the last sketchbook tour because February and March, I didn't do that much in here. I will show you a couple other paintings that I did outside of this, some digital art. But in a couple of weeks, I will be putting out my April sketchbook tour, and there'll be a lot more stuff for you guys to see in that because it's the middle of April right now, and I'm already doing way more in the month of April. So this will be a shorter one, and then we'll be back to another longer one next month. All right, so this is actually the only thing that I painted in here in February on Valentine's Day. I had a dream about this weird cat with many legs, and it was called Nickel Cat in my dream. I don't remember anything else about the dream, but once I woke up, I was like, that's creepy and I need to paint it. So this is just acrylic paint pen, these same Artex ones that I keep complaining about. And once I did that, I wanted something else to fill in the space over here that was also creepy. So I decided some spiders with some really long spindly legs that are kind of blobby would be fun to do. I've never really done characters before, so this is new for me, but it was fun. I kind of am interested in doing some more drawings that are a little bit weird or surreal or like slightly scary. So yeah, I was in a little bit of a slump in February, but we're gonna move to March. This is all colored pencil. This is colored pencil with wax pastel around it, the Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2. And then this is acrylic paint pen for the flowers, and then the background is colored pencil. So you can see I'm using mostly colored pencil here. It is my favorite medium to use. And this is actually, I wrote Sophie McPike really small here. This is inspired by Sophie McPike because I love how she does negative space. So I was kind of practicing that a little bit and seeing what I could do with it. Again, with the creepy, slightly unsettling creatures and or plants. So I was just having fun kind of making squigglies and stuff with this guy, and then I decided I wanted a darker background, so I did the scribble in black behind it. This is the skull of a crow. So I just Googled that, and that was really fun to do. I had a good time with that. Like I mentioned in my previous sketchbook tour, this is the kind of thing I'm very comfortable with. So like pencil drawing with shading is something that is like a safe space for me. It's easy to do for me. And I really love doing a background like this. This was so much fun. Just like many, many colors all smushed together. And you can do that with colored pencil or with any kind of pastel, including the wax pastel or crayon. So I want to do that more. Moving on. Okay, so yeah, things are getting more like experimental and like sketchy over here. But first we have March 11th. So continuing with like the slightly creepy plants, I thought that it would be fun to do like a carnivorous plant. So this is a Venus flytrap, and I wanted to stylize it a little bit. So I continued with colored pencil. This is all colored pencil except for the little teeth around the edges is acrylic paint pen. And I also did another Sophie McPike thing, which is I smeared a bunch of paint in the background so that the page wasn't white to start with. And then if you want to cover it all up, you can. Or you can leave some of it peeking through. And then this one was less successful. I didn't really have any specific plant in mind. I was just kind of doing whatever. So, but I do like how the background turned out because it looks like fire. And then over here, I was reading the book American Elsewhere, which is one of my favorite horror books. It's cosmic horror, and it's by Robert Jackson Bennett. So that was starting to inspire me here. rabbit skulls play an important part in that book. So I looked up rabbit skulls and I did some quick studies of those here. And then I wanted to do a bigger drawing to practice using those Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2 wax pastels. So I did a couple of thumbnails here really fast to figure out what composition I wanted to do. I ended up doing this one, and we'll see that on a following page. But this is just pen and Tombow marker just to do the thumbnails real fast. And this is also kind of inspired by that same book. So there are some large looming creatures in that book. Okay, so then this is the same day actually as those thumbnails. So then this is what I ended up doing. I really like how this turned out. The only thing is that I wish I had a little more variation in the texture. It's kind of all the same texture. But this is the first time I drew anything completely using the Neocolor 2. So this is an experiment in how they kind of blend together. And I just really love them. Like I said in my previous video, I'm still kind of figuring out how to use them, but they're so much fun. I really like them. And it gives you that kind of like childhood flashback because it's like using crayons. So I did a negative space on this monster guy. So that's the color of the paint in the background. And then I just did black and dark purple and like indigo blue for the sky. Carved out a moon negative space there too. And then did these kind of hills and like a little city here that he might do something to. We don't know. I started working on portraits again, and it's just, I wasn't putting my all into it that day. I was tired and I started and I didn't finish. So this is unfinished of an older woman. And then this one was unfinished too, but her eyes were like creeping me out. It was very uncanny valley. So I just scribbled over it because I didn't like how it was looking at me. And then there's just a doodle of some flowers. This was just, you know, it's a sketchbook. This is typical sketchbook stuff. Just weird things coming out of your hand, little swatching of colors over here. That was all I was doing that day. I think this might be my favorite thing from March in here. Oh, actually, this might be my favorite thing from March. And then these are more little thumbnails for a couple of things I was planning on doing, which you'll see some of it at the end when I show you my digital art for the month. So yeah, this is just swatching out some color palettes and doing some thumbnails over here. And then I just wanted to do some cats to fill in a page, do some little cat studies. So I started at the top here. And again, I wanted to practice using negative space. So I was using the black to kind of carve out the negative space shape of the cats. And it was fine. I like this little fat guy. He's kind of angry and he's got a little butthole. That one's my favorite of these top three. It was fine. It was going fine. But then I thought it would be much more fun to do black cats because I love it when you see pictures of black cats and they just look like a void with eyes. So this one I just did from imagination. And then the rest of these I actually looked at reference photos to get the silhouettes of these cats. So this one is my favorite, just like a blob that's looking at you. And then this one's walking towards you. There's a angry / scared one. And this is just colored pencil over top of paint. Yeah, I think it's fun to like, if you can't think of something to draw that day, just like pick one object or one animal and then do a bunch of different types or different positions and things like that on a page. That can be really fun. Yeah, I love that page. And then the last thing in here, before we look at a few other things, is this was the concept drawing for my reading journal setup for the month of April. So I wanted to do California poppies, and I did this with Tombow marker, which is water-based marker, and then color pencil on top in a very kind of very vibrant, colorful, sketchy kind of way. So I really love how this turned out. And then so I used this as my practice run for doing this. So this is the final drawing that I did. And to be honest, I kind of like this one better. This one is on watercolor paper, and I did watercolor in the background instead of marker, but I overworked this, and I am finding, I just did something yesterday that I did this exact same thing with, is that I do it really loose in my sketchbook because it's not a final piece, right? And so I don't feel like I have to like really polish it. And then I go to do it for a real piece, and then I get like tight and like worried about it or something, and I overwork it. And then I end up liking the sketchbook one better. So something I'm working on right now is not overworking things, which I talk about in the video for this setup. So if you want to see me drawing this, you can check out the video in the cards or in the description box. Anyway, I still like how it looks, and I really like how vibrant blue the colors are and how bright the orange is popping, but I just like this one a little bit more. I'll give you a little preview of what's in April before we end. But first, what we're going to do is look at a couple pieces of digital art that I made in the same month of March. So I did 4 pieces of digital art in March. I'll put the first one up right now so you can take a look at it. And the reason I did these is that sometimes I do book reviews on my Instagram and on my website. And I also do a book review video each month on this YouTube channel. So instead of just using Canva or something like that to make my book review graphics for Instagram, I really wanted to start making my art be the main thing that's on my Instagram. And so I wanted to make the art for my book review graphics. So each of these is inspired by a book. This first one is for Roadside Picnic. So this one is inspired by the book cover. Some of them are kind of reinterpretations of the book cover, like this one, and then some of them are completely original. But this one is based on the book cover, and the book cover is based on a still from the Tarkovsky film Stalker, which is based on this book. So this is a 1970s kind of weird sci-fi book, and I really enjoy in my digital art right now doing this kind of faux paper cut look, so it has like different layers and dimension to it. I learned how to do that style from an Art with Flow tutorial, so I will link that in case you also want to learn how to do this. And I do all my digital art on Procreate. Moving on to the next one. This one is for the book Rose House by Arkady Martin. And again, this is a reinterpretation of the actual art of the book cover. So again, I did it in a paper cut style, and this is the Rose House in question. It's like a fancy glass house that has an AI in it. And so I changed the colors and I stylized it and stuff, but the general idea is the same as the book cover. Moving on, these two I just came up with myself. They're just inspired by the books. So this first one is for When the Tiger Came Down the Mountain by Nevo, which is a fantasy novella. And it has tigers in it. So I wanted to do kind of an Asian-inspired tiger, sort of inspired by like Japanese tattoo and things like that. Again, still in the paper cut style. And then the last piece of digital art I did was for the book Gideon the Ninth, which is about necromancers in space. And so there are a lot of skeletons and bones and things like that because people can use magic in that book to kind of make skeletons do whatever they want. You can make a little army for yourself, things like that. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, but I just got the idea of having the skull with like a neon heart above it. So that's what I decided to do. And if you've watched my last sketchbook video, you'll know that I love this color scheme. I love like a bright royal blue and a really vibrant red. So those are the colors that I chose for this one. I just used a random reference of a human skull, like a photograph, and went to town. So that's all my art for February and March 2025. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate all of you who spend time with me. I know your time is precious and you could be spending it a million other ways, so thank you so much for being here. Like I said, next month will be much more interesting. Lots of different things going on in here. Little birds, a couple portraits, different stuff going on over there. So that'll be a really fun one. So I hope you'll join me in a couple of weeks when I do the flip through for April. If you want to see any of my other art, I will have links to all my social media in the description box. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and leave me a comment. That'll help me out with the algorithm. So let me know which one of these was your favorite in here in the comment section. And that pretty much wraps things up for today. Remember, I appreciate you. Take care of yourself, take care of the people around you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. If you enjoyed this video, you might also like this other sketchbook tour.